Hello everyone and welcome to some more F1 League Racing action. Today we're here for WOR for the Canadian Grand Prix, round number 6 of the season. Now, first of all, if you haven't seen the previous one, round 4, as I missed round 5, then go check it out, link up in the top right. I believe it was the Austrian Grand Prix. But yeah, we're back. I missed the last race, which was round 5 in Zandvoort, and we're back here in Canada. So we're going to see how we get on. First of all, though, looking at the championship standings. These were taken, of course, before the last race, basically the last one that I've done. Currently in the championship, we're mid-table. You know, we're not doing too bad. We only scored points in that first race in Spa. But, you know, if we can get a few points this race, it would actually help to really turn things around. And Canada is a pretty decent track for me anyway, so I'm optimistic that we could potentially have a decent weekend ahead of us. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. Nonetheless, we're going to move to qualify now and see how we get on. So you join me in Q1. I've already set, I believe, a banker on, I think, a set of mediums, if I'm not mistaken. I might be wrong, or maybe a set of inters. Either way, we've now got the soft tyre on. And straight away, we invalidate our first attempt, which was a bit of a shame because the first sector was actually pretty sweet. We nailed it quite nicely. We tried again, a second consecutive push lap. I was fueled for 2 laps if necessary, or 3 if it came down to that. This time though, we do keep it clean. We're not quite as fast, but still looking pretty decent. But then again, oh fuck it.
You're vibing. How much fuel you got?
I've got enough for one more. Now, we made another mistake, struggling to get the right lines. I'm in a Discord call with John Evans, who's my teammate for this race, as Jake Benham is not racing. And also, I believe, Lewis Welch, who is also racing here today as well.
How long's the last sector?
About 28 seconds, 30 seconds.
Now, you'll hear them chatting away from time to time as we move on to my final attempt in Q1. So, pretty scruffy exit. You can see they're just struggling to oversteer as we make our way through 3 and 4, trying to make up for lost time. And we're pretty much, you know, neck and neck with our previous attempt before we had the half spin. This time, we have no issues through here. We keep it nice and clean and get the job done. Back on the power now. DRS open along the back straight as we prepare the next right-left chicane underneath the bridge. Tip the car in, didn't quite get enough inside curb through the right, and then we got some oversteer on the exit of the left, down towards the hairpin, a brake at about, I'd say, 90 to 85 meters. We outbrake ourselves massively and have a shocking hairpin, the worst hairpin of all time.
You can still do something with a good large chicane.
And usually we take this hairpin in 3rd gear, but I had to go down to 1st gear to make the rotation. We nick a bit of a slipstream, and right now, if we can just keep it clean for the final chicane, this lap might just be enough to get us into Q2. And we just about...
Oh, was it decent?
I mean, I hit the wall, but yeah, I gained.
Oh, you gained on me. Dog Tom. Well in.
Is that it?
No, I don't know if it was 3, but...
I appreciate John being that gassed for me getting to Q2. But yeah, overall, here is your final Q1 results. So yeah, pretty close to be fair. Canada's always a very, very close track. The top 14 covered by 3 tenths, and we were 2.5 tenths off the pace. John chilling up in P3, looking pretty decent. And yeah, decent start to qualifying, considering we had a bit of a scruffy, you know, first 2 laps on the soft. Luckily, on my very last attempt, we managed to get a half decent lap out of the tyre. So yeah, we moved to Q2. Now, this first lap was, I believe, on that exact same soft tyre we used to get into Q2, so it's a used set. The plan here is to go for 3 runs, so we're going to go for a used soft, then we're going to switch to the mediums, and then back to a fresh soft at the end to try and get through. That's kind of the run plan here. So, yeah, first lap done. We moved to the medium, and I was up in the first sector, but we lost a bit of time through sector 2. I was struggling to really switch the tyre on and really find the groove. I was fueled for 2 laps as we struggled with the hairpin yet again here.
Tommy on a lap.
We've only got 2 laps of fuel left.
I'm going for another.
Oui.
To be fair, I'm not improving, but... So actually, yeah, technically I'm just going to save some ERS, so go ahead. Now we're going to let John go, as I want to save a little bit of battery before we start the lap again. Now, we're going to try and squeeze a second lap out of these, and see if we can improve. I reckon I can't go faster. It's just a question of hitting the sweet spot with these tyres. Now then, we're going to cut towards the end. You can see here we're just a fraction down on our personal best. I tried to throw it through the chicane, but we're not going to improve. Ah, fuck. And the funny thing is, I kept on pushing on my in lap just to see, and I ended up actually being up by 2.5 tenths, and we would have set a mid to low 5 on medium had we finished that lap, but we was running out of time. I had to get the soft tyres on, so I had to abandon the lap and go again. So soft tyres on this time. Pretty decent job through turns 1, 2 so far. Into 3 and 4, we're going to throw the car in. We absolutely nail that, and you can see here we're up by 2.5 tenths. We get blocked though by Longate. No, Longate, that wasn't ideal. Oh, fuck's sake, Longo. And that little block was just enough of a distraction that I just lost the rhythm a bit and just put me offline there, and I lost time. Slaps in the bin. God damn it. And yeah, unfortunately, we're going to have to try and go again after nailing the first sector on that previous lap. We're going to need an absolute perfect lap to get in. And you can hear me say that we're going to need a perfect lap to get in. The pace is pretty strong, and it's all down to this then. The last lap, I missed my apex straight away in turn 1, which is not great. Turn 2 also not that good, and we're not really improving, but nowhere near as much as our previous run. Into turn 3 and 4 now, trying to commit. Ah, fuck it straight away. Game over. Yeah, we overdrive, pushing too hard, end up cutting, and that is going to be the end of Q2 for us. I kept on pushing though, just to see what I would have done.
Oh.
Are you okay?
Now, I will say, I was up by nearly 6 tenths, and if you shave off 6 tenths off the lap, then I would have gone to Q3. So it would have been close. It would have all depended on that final chicane, but I do believe I could have actually got Q3 on softs. But unfortunately, the invalidation didn't help, and then the block on the previous lap before that also didn't help. But the pace is there. The pace is good, and I do think we could have a chance in the race to have a pretty decent one. So yeah, that's over Q2. There's your final kind of results. And yeah, join the Q3. We're going to be out in Q2, and we'll try and see what we can do from P14 on the grid around Canada. Now then, strategy-wise, we're going to start in the medium. We're going to try and see if we can make it work, and then we're going to go for a couple of soft stints. 2-stop, definitely the way you usually want to go around here, because the pit lane is very short and quick. Because of the pit entry and also the pit exit, it makes it quite short. But the 1-stop is also an option. It depends on race scenario and how things kind of pan out. So here we go then. 5 lights are on for the race, and we're underway, and it's a great start off the line. We jump Thomas Harvey straight away. We also get a better start than Primoz Miklavčić in the Williams into turn 1, up the inside here as we try to get by. John's gone. John gets spun out, unfortunately. We're going to go to the outside. It's 4 wide at one point with the red arrow. What a fucking start. And already up to P11 as we try to negotiate these Aston Martins. Eventually we have to fall in line behind Joost Noordijk, making our way towards turn 5. We get sent up the inside there by Primoz. We're going to defend the line though and make sure that we stay ahead. We're going to use a bit of ERS to make sure we don't get overtaken, and so far pretty decent. 3 places gained from P14 to P11. Lovely clean start, committing to the outside into turn 2, and that worked out pretty well for us. Not over yet though, down towards the hairpin. Who's going to be the one that goes for the reckless dive bomb? We're going to find out shortly. I'll take a nice wide line to avoid having any contact, and that is going to give us in turn a decent exit. Primoz Miklavčić pretty close though, and having a decent exit himself. We're going to have to keep our ERS on here to make sure he doesn't pass us into the final chicane. And just like that, lap 1 draws to a close. Bit of a scruffy final chicane, admittedly, I will admit through that.
You're second on the mediums.
Copy.
And up it, I think we're damage again.
And we're now up into the top 10 as Thomas Ronhart has pit for apparent wing damage. Our first lap was clear. And there, here we are then. P2 on the mediums, as Luke said, my engineer, and we're behind Joost Noordijk. So we're looking pretty decent right now. If we can just stay in the race, then we've got a chance here to get some decent points, because we're on a decent strategy and Joost is a pretty quick driver. So yeah, onto lap 5. The soft runners eventually broke DRS with us, so Joost is kind of pulling us along here. I was trying to find my confidence. I was struggling to really find the rhythm on the medium as we get our first warning for track limits. And even though my 1 lap pace was pretty decent here for a change, my race pace didn't feel so good. I'll say race pace, my confidence with the car on race fuel wasn't that great, and I wasn't feeling it in terms of, you know, being aggressive, taking corners aggressively, curbs and stuff like that. As we close in on Joost here, we get a second. Oh shit, I got 2 warnings in 1 lap, for fuck's sake. Warning, and Joost got one as well, and that's what kind of caused it. I followed him through, and by doing that I got myself a warning at the same time. What the fuck? Looking hit in the rear. They just saw a bit of colourful language as Primoz hit the back of us into the hairpin. Now we're gonna keep going here. Yost is out of ERS. You can see his light is flashing. So if we're gonna try and pass him, he's giving us a little wave to let us know that he's gonna box and retire, maybe because of the penalty. Yeah, there we go. He retires. So we're gonna now become the lead medium alt-strat runner in this race. So it's been a good start to the race so far. Good first stint because we've gone from P14 to P9 and the first medium car. Eventually, lap 9 now, cars on the soft started to box and the race was starting to open up. I wasn't quite able to close up to the cars ahead, which was a bit of a shame. I'm doing a little weave there to let Primoz know I'm not going to fight and he needs to go.
Yeah, that'll work.
Primoz was sitting behind me for one too many laps and I ran out of battery, and if we want to try and catch the cars ahead, we need to work together. So that was kind of my signal to let him know, go on mate, go ahead, pull us along, pull me along, and let's see if we can try and get ourselves into this race. So Primoz overtakes. He's now going to push on and presumably drain all of his battery to try and drop me out of DRS range while catching the cars ahead.
Partner in for mediums.
Oh fuck, there we go.
We've been awarded a time penalty. It will go against our finishing time at the end of the race.
Oh my god, I'm going to get loads of penalties this race. What?
And you can see again there, the second lap this race where I've got 2 warnings on the same lap and we now already have a 3-second time penalty. I knew it was going to happen. The minute I got the 2 warnings in that same lap, I knew I was doomed because it's so easy around here to get warnings. And I don't usually get penalties, but this was one of my scruffier races, I will admit. And that is partly down to a lack of practice, which I've been struggling with lately to find the time. Nonetheless, lap 13 now though, we're going to re-overtake Primoz. I've managed to recharge my battery a bit, and he has now run out. So we're going to get the slingshot, and in turn, gain a bit on the cars ahead. And you're going to see here, we're closing in now on Pedreño and Caraton, who are still hanging out there on their very, very old soft tyres at this stage of the race.
It's going to be one of them races I can already tell it's going to be a good race, but the penalty's going to cost me. Well, that's what you get with them practice, no consistency.
I want 9 seconds.
Fucking obvious.
Now you can hear me say in the background there that it's going to be a good race, but the penalty is going to ruin it for me. And I can hold my hand up and admit my own mistakes. Lack of practice is going to mean you make mistakes. Caraton, Pedreño pit, so we're going to take the race lead. And here we are in lap 15. Just doing our thing right now as we get another.
Oh, and I'm going to get 6 seconds. What?
Another warning. Now, if you're going to get a penalty, keep it at 3. You don't want them no more than 3 because at 3 seconds you've still got a chance of picking up a few things. Other people will inevitably get penalties and you can still have a decent race, such as, for example, Jordan Poland in P5 who's got 9 seconds. But we're already on 5 warnings after 20 laps, which is pretty poor from me.
Come on then, Primoz, let's go.
So at this point you can see here, I'm letting Primoz go once again. I've run out of battery, so we're going to let him crack on and do his thing. And he's actually going to pit, but because of the overspeed with DRS, he's actually going to speed into the pit lane.
There we go, Primoz sped into the pits. GG.
So that's good news for us because, again, with our penalties, if you look behind as well, Ikabayan, Jack Lavity, all these guys have time penalties, and we're still in this race. As long as we keep track position, we're looking pretty decent. So lap 23 now, and we've got Ikabayan who has pit for mediums.
Yeah, put this up, make sure you don't run into that.
And we're going to basically pit before we start getting passed by those who have already stopped. Biner is the net race leader. He pit, I think, lap 10 or something for mediums, and it's going very long as we pit quite aggressively.
DSP Mercy, cheers for the prime, man. Thank you.
And we're going to strap on the soft tyre, a fresh soft tyre that we saved, I believe, in qualifying.
Oh, it's about as perfect of a pit entry as it gets, to be fair.
That's perfect timing. Ron half pit, and he was holding those lot up.
Pit strategy complete. See these tyres through to the
Now
end
then, we're going to rejoin. It looks like P13, so quite a way down, further down than I thought, but...
Oh, and I'm behind.
Let's try it. Sam, hold Jeffrey up.
We're going to be behind Sam, who is my PSL teammate, and Jeffrey Ritchie. Now, Jeffrey doesn't have a penalty, Sam does. We're going to try and get past Sam ASAP because he's on the hard tyre, has the penalty as well, and will presumably be struggling. Now, we're sitting on 6 seconds worth of time penalties at this point, so it's not looking great for us. That is quite a hefty penalty, around the 1 minute lap, around here. So, yeah, we're going to pass Sam Corby, and they got the inside of turn 1. Crucially, I'm going to try and hang on to the DRS of Jeffrey Ritchie and stay within a second. So that's going to be the plan for this one, making sure that we stay competitive for the rest of the race, because I still believe we can get points. I mean, we're P11 right now. If we pass Jeffrey, we're P10 on track, and then there's going to be more penalties up the road. So
Oh my god, I'm driving like an idiot this race.
Things can still happen as we get another warning.
Another 3 seconds for Primos.
Fastest lap of the race from us, which then gets taken away by Jack West. On to lap 26 now, end of the lap, out of the hairpin. And I think we're going to pass Jeffrey Ritchie here because I don't think he's using any battery. And that's kind of letting me know that, okay, you go ahead, mate. Same role as before with Primoz, but now with Jeffrey Ritchie, we're going to try and exchange places to try and catch cars ahead and make up places. Jeffrey doesn't have a penalty, so he's going to gain quite a bit in this race by not having that penalty. Making our way, though, onto lap 27 now. You can see the gaps ahead. We're starting to close in on Shanaka and Primoz, who are struggling on their tyres. And you can see here, we're actually on for a personal best at this stage as we get another warning. And you can hear me say in the background, we're going to get 9 seconds in this race. I'm on 8 warnings, and there's 8 laps to go. So it's going to be touch and go. Jeffrey's still chilling behind us as we go on to lap 29. I think he might go for the rear overtake. I'm giving him a little weave to let him know, go on, mate, go past, I'm out of battery, and I can't do anything. So Jeffrey will now take over and do his thing. Makes sense, it's for the better. Also, we're pulling away from the cars behind as well, which is a massive bonus because of the penalty. So hopefully we can keep this going and ticking over as Primoz now has 8 seconds.
Oh, fucking hell. Terrible race, game over.
Oh dear, Tom.
I've never had a race with so many penalties before in my life.
And just as I said that, the nail in the coffin, another 3-second penalty, 9 seconds in total. It's a disaster. Also, it means we can't catch Primoz now because he's got 1 second less and he's 3 seconds up the road, which is not ideal. As we get a virtual safety car,
Your delta is negative, which means you
I
are
think
too fast
it
to
was
reduce your pace.
Lewis Welch, who I'm in a call with at the time. We got back underway though with the VSE.
Green flag.
Obviously someone got a penalty from that.
Longo got drive-through.
Dot. Managed to get some battery as well in that one. Right, last push.
Now Nicholas Longe got a drive-through penalty for speeding on the VSE.
That delta just spiked right at the end, that did, on that VSE.
And that is going to mean now we should actually get a point in this race if we just keep it clean and make no mistakes from now until the end.
Do you reckon there'll be people who may be
We
tight
have
for
5
tyres?
laps of fuel remaining.
No, the wear lasts for ages. I just took them like 15 laps and socks. No, still, power was good.
Now we've re-overtaken Jeffrey. I've managed to actually save quite a fair bit of battery under that VSC considering the limited time we had it. And at this point, my focus was to just go absolutely flat out. Because of the long gauge situation, I know I'm getting a point, so I'm just going to commit and go as fast as I can and see what I can do.
Longo hasn't served. Okay, never mind.
And as I say that, Longo literally gets disqualified. So confirmation of P10 as we move to the
Right,
points.
that's points for me then.
And yeah, we're now catching up to Primoz here on lap 34 of this race.
This is my chance to get Primoz here. If I can get a 1 second clearance by the end of the race, I'll gain a place.
And you can hear me say that's the plan. If we can pass Primoz and then gain a second over the last lap, we could bag a P9. So we're going to pass him here and see what happens. Unfortunately, at the time, I didn't actually realise what lap it was. I thought I had another lap after this, so 2 laps to go. I didn't realise I was going on to the last lap of the race because I didn't actually push as much as I would have done. I was kind of saving a bit of ERS for the last lap. And yeah, in hindsight, I could have passed the Empire now, like the previous DRS zone on the previous straight. But because I thought it was another lap, I didn't commit. And I didn't even realise until after I finished the race across the line. But basically, we're going to get really close to par now here again. And here, I could have maybe committed for a move to gain a bit of time. But I didn't realise it was the last lap of the race. Eventually, we were going to overtake him on track anyway and finish ahead as we get past with DRS and ERS, but we didn't get enough of a gap to clear Primoz, and we're going to finish the race in P10. So, there's your lot. A mixed race. Pace-wise, we were quite decent, but my consistency was awful. In hindsight, strategy-wise, I do think I probably should have started on the soft and gone for probably a soft, medium, soft, or soft, soft, medium, something like that. Starting medium didn't seem to be the way to go. Even though we done well, I just lacked pace, and even then, maybe I should have hit on like lap 10 or something for a hard tyre, you know, on that strategy. I should have tried something different. We tried to go long, didn't quite work. Having said that, if you take the penalties out of it, you know, 9 seconds worth, would have been a top 6. But that's not the way these things work. And yeah, overall, a weird race. I think not fully maximised, but still, I'll take a few positives from that. The qualifying pace and the race pace overall. Just the fact I've never had that many penalties in such a long time, and I feel really like dirty and like it's a weird feeling. But I just feel like I've had such a horrible race for getting so many penalties. But that's what happens when you don't practice. Finally, the championship standings before we move away and move on to the next one. You can see we're still basically where we were at the start of the episode. We did get a point, but it doesn't really affect our championship position. Elsewhere, Jake Benham didn't race, my teammate, so he's going to lose a little bit of ground in P7. And yeah, pretty much we move on to the next one, which I believe is either Imola or Monza. I'm not quite sure which of the two it is, but we'll find out shortly. Either way, I'll be streaming the next race Sunday night on my Twitch. So link down below, guys, 8 PM UK time, if I'm not mistaken, so go check that one out. And yeah, that's it from me today, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed. Leave a like if you did, subscribe for more. As always, check out the 2 videos on screen if you haven't seen them already. And that is it from me today. As always, a thank you to the members, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, take care, and it's goodbye from me.